In my experience, there are two kinds of videographers, those that make money and those that don't make money. Today, I want to talk about 5 ways that you can make money as a videographer today in 2021. I want to add a precursor before we actually go and dive into these 5 different ways, because I think there needs to be a little bit of a mindset shift if you're going to make money doing videography. And that main mindset shift is, I think a lot of videographers get locked into them just being a creative. And that is their identity. They identify as being a creative. That's what they do. Their job is about having the most creative ideas and storytelling, and all those things are really good, and you definitely need that in videography. But when you're going to make money off of it, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the value that it's going to bring to someone else's life. Videography is the same as any other kind of business. You're only going to make money if you provide value for someone else. And that value isn't you just playing around and, having fun getting cool shots. You need to figure out a way to actually add value to other people's lives. The way that I do that is primarily through working with businesses. And I create advertising and promotional content for them to use to make extra revenue, to use as marketing material to get more clients. And so my success is attributed to providing value for these companies, making sure that they are succeeding because of the work that I create. And so I think that is the main thing. You need to be able to put yourself in the shoes of someone that is going to benefit from the work that you do, and figure out what is going to be the most beneficial for them. And also in how you talk about your work, you need to make sure that you are putting them first. The client always comes first. That is the bottom line, or the user, or however you're making money. The target needs to be the most valuable thing. The target person, the target audience needs to be the most valuable thing. It can't just be your creative freedom. And so the first thing that I want to talk about is very much a spinoff of that, is client work. And there's lots of different ways that this can look. You can do weddings, you can do corporate videography, you can do commercial work, you can do documentaries. The world is really limitless as to what kind of content you can create and who you're creating that content for. But no matter what that end project is, the philosophy still applies, is that basically there is a client that then hires you to make a product, make a video for them, and able to use for some sort of means, or means to an end, whether it's advertising, so their goal is to make money off of that video through getting more sales, or a documentary, it's looking to get engagement, get views on it, on a streaming platform or something like that. And so that's basically one category, and within that you can have one-off projects or you can have retainers. One-off projects being a project where you make a sale, you land a client, you complete the project, you're paid for those services, and your relationship, at least on that project, ends. A retainer being something that is more ongoing. So maybe on a monthly basis, they pay you a set amount, and then you create a set amount of work in return for that. This is a really great way to stabilize your income a little bit. In my experience, it's a little bit harder to land retainer clients than in other fields such as graphic design or photography, because there's such a demand for ongoing work in that field, and sometimes businesses opt to do more one-off projects for videography. But I have found that when it comes to social media, video is something that does really well. Video makes up 80% of the content that's viewed online, and so often businesses are looking for content, video content to put online. And so it's just a matter of finding the right client that has the budget to be able to sustain that, and that the video is going to benefit them enough to make that ongoing expense make sense for them. And so when it comes to videography, you really need to understand business if you're going to be working with clients. You can't just be a videographer and a videographer alone. You need to understand how business works, how marketing works, sales. These are skill sets that are really, really going to help you in being able to monetize your craft. The second way is similar to the first, but there's an integral difference. And this is subcontracting to other production companies or to marketing agencies. And so how this basically works is instead of you going direct to the client, you're basically going through a middleman, or being hired on for someone who they are actually the ones working with the client. And so this could look like you working with a production company, they hire you on as a second shooter or as a DP or a cinematographer or director, depending on the scale of the project. Or maybe a marketing agency that you have ties with decides to hire you out for a marketing campaign that they have for one of their clients. This can be a really effective strategy because these companies will have connections and be able to hire you for work, and you don't have to be the one going out and landing every single contract and every single sale. Sometimes what can be helpful is creating incentive for these companies to hire you out by giving them a little bit of a kickback. Now, this will depend on the format of the arrangement. Sometimes a production company or marketing agency will just hire you under their budget, and then they're billing the client separately. Sometimes the case, however, is that they will send a client your way, and it will technically be under, if it's a marketing agency, they'll have the one with the overarching contract, but then they'll have subtrades under that, but you as a subtrader billing the client directly. When this is the scenario, then what you can do is basically offer, a 15% kickback or whatever your format or offering is. You can offer them a little bit of a commission for sending you the work, and that just provides incentive for them to keep sending projects your way. The third way is through stock footage. There are tons of productions or YouTube channels or videographers that don't have time or the means to go and get every single shot that they need for a project. And so often they will rely on stock footage. Maybe you've done this yourself. But what you can do is you can sell your own footage online as stock footage and be able to receive money every time someone purchases that. The way that I do this is there's this amazing company called Blackbox. And basically what they do is you upload your footage to it, curate it, make sure you add, all the metadata to it, and then they will distribute it to the different stock footage platforms. And then every time that it gets sold on one of those platforms, eventually will trickle back to you and you will get paid for that footage selling. This has been something great for me when, my time is busy and filled working on client projects or something else, and yet I still, get that notification, X amount of money has been transferred to your PayPal account, and it's just a nice little way of making passive income for me. The fourth way is selling filmmaking tools online. This could look like a LUT package, or maybe a motion graphic package, or maybe it's an online course. And this can be really, really beneficial in the same way as the last, where it becomes a means of passive income for you. So you spend some time up front developing these tools or this course, and then you are able to sell that online or put it on a platform that then pays you for having it online, depending on how many views you get or how many downloads you get. And then while you're sleeping, you can be making money, or while you're working on another project, you can be making money. In my experience, the sales for these sorts of things aren't crazy, depending on how much time and work you put into them. If you spend a lot of time developing these resources or creating courses and making a whole bunch of them, you can probably make pretty good money. In my experience, it's a nice side income, but it's by no means a main income, and that's just because I don't put a lot of time into that. I spend most of my focus on client work, making sure that my clients that I have are happy and they're taken care of. And that's just a thing on the side that I'm able to make some extra money here and there. And it really helps, pay the bills and have some extra money, which is really nice to have. The fifth way is something that I currently am not making money doing, but lots of other people are making money doing it, and that is creating YouTube videos. Obviously right now, this is a YouTube video. I'm creating some YouTube videos, but right now my channel is not monetized, so I'm not making anything from these videos. But there are a lot of filmmakers that have established their YouTube channels, have a decent following, and they're able to monetize that. And then on top of that, able to have paid promotions, etc. And so that's also another really good way to make money as well. So many filmmakers are learning this craft via YouTube. That's how I originally learned. That's one of the greatest resources that I've had in my filmmaking career. And so people need content, they need to learn. And if you can bring something to the table, if you can teach, pass on some knowledge that you've gained, that's a great way to serve people watching, to provide value for them. And in return, you know, if your YouTube channel grows to a decent amount, you can make some money on the side, or it could even, you know, one day be your primary income, making those videos. Well, those are my 5 tips for how to make money doing videography. Hopefully that's been helpful for you. For me, I have found that it really honestly is just about putting yourself in the shoes of the person that you're trying to serve, figuring out what is going to be the most beneficial for them, whether it's a viewer or a client, or, you know, someone that is sub-trading you out. Always be thinking, how is this going to best serve the client? How is this best going to serve the person watching? That will get you much farther than having the latest camera, making sure that your lighting is on point. All of that stuff is good and amazing, but it's not the bottom line. The bottom line is, what are you bringing to the table? What value are you adding? If you enjoyed this video, if you got some value out of it, feel free to give it a like, subscribe to the channel. That helps me to know that you want to see more of this and helps me to produce more content to serve you guys. And so go ahead and do that. I would really appreciate it. I will see you in the next video.